A chance for the Chargers, and they score! Good afternoon. We are here at 321 Media. It is Andrew Fiore here, Brandon Kahn, and Kyle Reel on Fiore Calls Game. We are brought to you by CC O'Brien, some of the best burgers, beer, and games you will find in town. Head on over to Mechanic Street in Pawcatuck to get some action in, watch some games, and maybe you'll watch our special guest here one day as he works his way to the major leagues. It's Addison Kopack, who is on the AA San Antonio Missions after he was signed by the San Diego Padres. Addison, how are you doing over there?
Good, man. Happy to be here. Excited to be here. I was saying before, a long time no see to Andrew Fiore, my former broadcaster back at the Mystic Schooner. So excited to be here.
Yeah, last time I saw Addison, I had no facial hair, the glasses on. A lot has changed since then, and you're no longer that roadie Ram. You're repping brown and yellow for San Diego.
Yeah, switched over the Keeney blue for the brown and yellow. Definitely an interesting transition, but you know, still pride for all. Still got the Keeney blue on always.
Love it. Love it. So yeah, you were signed in 2023 when you were with the Schooners. That's where we worked together, and since then you have spent most of your time in Fort Wayne. What was Fort Wayne like for you with the Tin Caps as kind of your home base in the minor league so far?
Fort Wayne's honestly, you know, if inside like the professional baseball scene, it's known as kind of like one of the best places as a player to play. Like the field itself is top notch. It's extremely pro. Fan base shows up every night, especially in the summer. Like basically every single summer game is packed house, like 8,000 fans. City itself is fun, has a lot of stuff to do. So honestly, couldn't really, you know, have a better place to be for the, you know, first year or two for my professional career.
Yeah, and you also, I want to touch on this a little bit. I know you spent some time, although very briefly, in El Paso with the Chihuahuas, AAA, and that happened to coincide with a bit of a famous face around here visiting El Paso. Tell us a little about what happened in your stint in AAA.
Yeah, so got called up to AAA for a couple of weeks, just, you know, help out, like fill a roster and play whenever they kind of needed me. And really surreal. I mean, every person in that clubhouse was basically a big leaguer at some point. So not only did I, you know, get to learn just a lot about the game or how to handle myself, but you know, just to experience it with the guys and, you know, become a part of that team was a lot of fun. And one of the weeks I was there was when, like you said, Xander Bogaerts was in town rehabbing. So he spent, you know, a week with us and got to spend some time with him, which was cool since, you know, one of the childhood heroes. Was able to tell him in 2014 when I was 12, I got to go onto the fields at Fenway Park and like stand with them during the national anthem. And I stood next to him when I was 12 and told him that. And, you know, he said that made him feel old, which was pretty funny.
That must have been surreal, man. Absolutely surreal. But
yeah,
I mean, playing in AAA, I want to say like about a year after being in college, what was the difference like in competition? How do you adjust yourself for that big of a jump?
You know, I'd say the biggest difference is just like, it's not like you don't face anything like that in college. Like, you know, some colleges, their best guys are, you know, sometimes competing at that same level, you know, any given day. You know, there's obviously ebbs and flows to everything, but I think just the level of consistency and, you know, the lack of mistakes that these guys make is just super intense. You know, in a college game, you know, the pitcher might have good stuff, but, you know, he makes 10 mistakes a game, which you can capitalize. But in the higher levels, it's, you know, maybe one mistake a game. So you really got to be locked in and ready to go.
Yeah, and at college, I mean, you were one of the many faces of the URI Rams, a program that was on the rise and now just won the A10. What was your time like at URI, and how much do the Rams still mean to you?
Rams still mean a lot to me. I mean, time at URI was unforgettable. Definitely a time where, I grew up, learned to become a man, and kind of really developed as a baseball player. And, I owe a lot of my career, my success to that coaching staff, that university, met a bunch of lifetime friends and teammates. So definitely still have a lot of pride in the program. And seeing what they did this year was absolutely amazing. I was watching every single game before my game, like throwing it on the TV in the clubhouses, even when the guys didn't want it. And, hanging my jersey up in the locker every single time Rhodey was playing. So it was awesome to watch.
Yeah, we had a few of those guys on, and I see Khan's trying to get in here. Khan, you got something for Addy?
Yeah, I just had a question relating to that. You already beat me to the punch bringing up the team from this year. You played with a decent amount of those guys just 2 years ago. So for the guys that you played with, what does it mean to you to see them develop and take the next step in their careers and win an A10 ring?
It means a lot, man. I mean, a lot of those guys like Tristan Levesque, Eric Genther, Anthony DePino, a lot of handfuls of the guys, like I was with them their freshman and sophomore years. And they were, really, really, really talented players, much more talented than I ever was, in those years of my career. And kind of seeing how they, brought that team to the place that I always wanted to go was, really special. And almost living vicariously through them. So definitely had a lot of pride in what they did.
Yeah, being in the clubhouse with those guys for so long, of course, you're going to keep those connections. I'm glad to hear you were forcing your teammates to watch some roadie baseball. What are your teammates like there now in AA? Have you gotten close to them yet? What is it like with the constant turnaround going in and out?
It's a little easier than you would expect since you spend a lot of time coming up with these guys, through the different leagues. I've already played with a bunch of these guys in lower levels and spent some time with other guys during spring training. But, it's AA here is really awesome group of guys. Definitely, more mature than some other levels just because the experience that they've had and a little bit of an older average age for AA. But it's amazing, learning more and more every day about the game, how to watch the game, and still having a lot of fun doing it.
Have you had other guys? Oh, Kyle, you take this one.
Yeah, no worries. Sorry, it's weird like jumping. I haven't done that. We haven't done that before. But yes, I've always been I'm really fascinated by the life of like a minor league baseball player because I know just baseball players in general. It's a grind every single day. I'm sure there's a routine that you have to get into, and I just want to ask you what does your day-to-day life look like as you're going up through the major leagues? The minor leagues basically.
Yeah, day-to-day is for the most part, pretty consistent. It differs maybe if we're on the road or if we're at home. Basically, each week we play 6 games. Usually 5 out of 6 of those are at 7 o'clock at night. So, my nights end up being like sometimes 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning if I, can't come down from that high energy of the game. So sleeping in a little bit, like 10:30, and then it's usually, get some breakfast, maybe go out in the morning and do something, go get a coffee or something, and then head to the field around 1 o'clock, 1:30, and then, working out. We usually have like a practice before the game. The intensity of that obviously varies depending on, how the guys are feeling, how tired we are, and then play the game and then rinse and repeat. And then most of the time, Sundays or Mondays, we got to travel someplace. Like this past week, July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, we were home in San Antonio. And then July 4th, 5th, and 6th, we traveled to Corpus Christi to play 3 games. And then on Sunday night, after our final game yesterday, we got on a bus and we drove 12 hours to Wichita, which we are here now. And we're going to play 6 games this week. So it's definitely a lot.
Yeah, it sounds like a grind and a half. I can't even imagine. It's also got to be a huge, a toll on your body too. I can imagine.
Oh yeah, my back right now is all busted up trying to sleep on that bus through the night. So it's definitely a grind.
You told me on one bus ride, probably a Vineyard one, about how tough life is with those injuries constantly. You had a term that you athletes had a term for non-athletes that didn't have to deal with that. I can't remember what it was. It's escaping me.
Yeah, NARPs. non-athletic regular people. I mean, obviously, like, not the greatest term, but usually that floats around more in college than it does in the professional levels. But in college, everyone's just calling non-athletes narps, saying that they don't understand the life and whatnot.
It's really hard to imagine for us, and I mean, for you, a lot of you play catcher primarily, and that is one of the hardest positions to play. How do you manage those little like bumps and soreness and all that, and survive the grind?
Yeah, going back to the other question, it's just really having a routine. Like getting in early and getting treatment with the awesome athletic trainers that we're lucky to have, and eating well, like getting sleep when we can is definitely really important. Like trying to be on top of everything we can health wise so we end up not getting injured. And if we end up hopefully not, but if we end up getting injured, then doing everything we can to get back on the field as fast as we can.
And I mean, thinking about those 6 game series, I have to imagine they do that for travel, right?
Yeah, this is new as of 2 years ago, 3 years ago maybe, but it used to be 3 game series and you were traveling every 3 days. So now we're lucky where it's 6 game series. You travel on that last game of the series, that night, and then every single Monday is an off day, which makes it a lot easier to have a life and kind of get away from baseball for a minute.
How is that with facing the same pitchers and players every day for almost a week? You see some of the same relievers over and over again. Does it give you an
Yeah,
advantage?
I'd say it's definitely towards the end of the week it's a little bit of an advantage just because you've probably seen all the pitchers at least once, and if it's later in the year you've probably seen them a bunch of times. But it also just makes it fun. Like maybe things get a little bit chippy early in the series, and it's like you're 2 games in, and tensions are high, and you got 4 more games to go. So it could definitely make it a little bit more interesting.
Tell me about some of the guys you've played with and played against so far. Are there any like top line prospects you've seen on the other side of the diamond or even on your own team, or any guys rehabbing?
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, like the way the game is now, like every single guy that I play with, like they could do something that you just look at and you just go, "Oh my god!" Like, how do they do that? I think that's just like the level of talent that is in the game right now. But I mean, one of the superstar prospects that I've played with in Fort Wayne, Leo Dallas DeVries. He's like, I don't know, third on MLB Pipeline's prospect list. He's just 17, 18 years old and just doing absolutely ridiculous things. Which I mean, he was my age, what, junior, senior in high school, and like couldn't imagine doing it at this level at that age.
That's insane. Is it hard for you guys to not get wrapped up in the whole pipeline rankings, or if you get sent down, like for example, when you went up to El Paso, then went back to Fort Wayne, does that play a role on your mental ability to stay focused and keep it a day at a time? Do you get wrapped up in those sorts of things?
Yeah, definitely. When things kind of speed up a little bit, it definitely is, hard not to play GM as we call it, and analyzing all the moves the organization's making and stuff like that. But it really kind of boils down to like, being where your feet are and taking it day by day. And I'm lucky to be a professional baseball player right now, so I'm trying to soak in as much as I can, and hopefully climb the ranks and try not to notice it as much, if that makes sense.
That's the right mindset to have, honestly. And with the trade deadline coming up, do you ever hear whisperings? Because a lot of these deals now have minor league players involved. What is
Yeah,
that like? Does it get interesting around the trade deadline? Or are you guys pretty
yeah.
much left in the dark?
I mean, we're definitely for the most part left in the dark, but some guys have little inklings whether or not they're going to be traded or not. I remember last year we had like 6 guys on our team getting traded, and it's literally like they'll be taking a round of batting practice, and next thing you know, like the head coach comes and we're like, oh, there he goes. He's getting traded. Like, goodbye. And next thing you know, they're packing their bags and playing for another team the very next day. So it gets kind of crazy.
Yeah, that must be unreal. And with the draft coming up, an influx of new minor league players are going to be coming. Probably not at the double A level, but a lot of those guys you've played with at different levels might get their names called. Is anybody you're watching for? We talked to DePino last week and Levesque, candidates like that.
Oh yeah, I'm looking for those three boys right there. I'm looking for DePino, Levesque, and Genther. I'm hoping that they get picked up by a team and they get a chance. I mean, they definitely really deserve it, and I'd be shocked if they don't at least get an opportunity.
No, you said there were multiple times when you'd have guys who you played with or against at different levels, like collegiate ball. What is that like when you see a guy that you faced off with so many years? Like, is there anybody in the NECBL that you ended up seeing in the minor leagues or stuff like that?
It's honestly, I haven't seen too many people so far. You know, the one guy I would have seen, Anthony Sherwin, I think he's in rehabbing. I would have seen him last week, so I wasn't able to see him. But, whenever you do, I see him in spring training a lot. One of my buddies that I train with in the off season, Nick Raposo, he went to Wheaton College. He's a Rhode Island guy, and I got to play against him this year, and that was pretty fun. It's like a tip the cap, like friendly banter kind of stuff the whole entire week. So it definitely adds a little level of fun.
I can only imagine. I can only imagine. Now, I gotta ask because I went to a Yard Goats game and they're double A like you, and I saw there was a guy on the Fisher Cats who played in the NECBL, and that hit me hard. And I often am like, geez, I wish like Addy or Sherwin would come over this way. Do you know why they keep the league so separate at this level? And does that bother you that you're seeing the same few teams cycled, or is it just a travel thing, convenience, same strip of land?
Just a travel thing. They
Yeah.
got to keep, there's 30 teams, so there's 30 different double A teams. They got to keep them somewhat close. And I mean, the travel here and there's the Texas League, and then there's the Eastern League, which is the Fisher Cats and the Yard Goats and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Travel for these leagues is already like 10-hour bus rides minimum almost, so it's already pretty tough. So they kind of just got to keep it spread out.
How well did the NECBL prepare you for that travel? I know we weren't getting like 10-hour rides, but there were some tough ones in there.
Oh, I mean, I remember like the back-to-back away games where it'd be like you get back at 3 in the morning from someplace, and then the next day you have like a 4-hour bus ride again. So definitely prepared me a little bit. Definitely showed me how to have fun on a bus, at least, like break up the monotony and, play the name game, if you remember that one.
I learned most of those. I learned a lot of the games this past year. I learned the name one. I learned the Monkeys one.
The
I got
Monkeys one.
the Monkeys one.
I don't know the Monkeys one.
Oh, really? Well, I'm trying to think of who Christian Scanlon, who I don't think you played with, the one that brought to my attention. That's a whole nother topic. That game. Ask somebody on your next bus trip will almost definitely know the Monkeys game. But yeah, Kyle, you got something?
Just how Edison brought up like the monotony, and I know that was like, talking about the bus rides and trying to bring up monotony, trying to break up the monotony during that, because I'm sure that can be a struggle. But when it comes to like the long, arduous season, like how do you stay dialed in at the play, or, when you're playing the field during, how long the season can get and how much it can just kind of break you down mentally and physically?
I think it's, being in love with the process and not the results. I know that's kind of like a cliche cliche answer that everyone would say, but I mean, over 100 something games, it really holds true. Like if you're not getting the results at the plate or on the field, it really makes life hard, especially going home and trying to think about that. But being more like process oriented, like, all right, like I did this today, I got better, like I did this well, versus like, oh, like I didn't get a hit today, I suck, that kind of thing. And also like being able to like, get away from the field and really like have that switch of, I'm away from the ballpark. I'm a human being now. I'm not a baseball player. Having a separate identity really also kind of helps that, monotony and breaking it up.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like it would be important to make sure that like your free time for yourself, you're not like spending the entire time just ravaging your brain thinking about like, oh, I K'd today. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, another
100%.
another question I was going to ask is like, do you have any older, I guess, teammates or more veteran players that you ask for advice and questions about like a pitcher or what did I do on this swing? When I guess like any questions about your approach.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, I think one of the big difference between, collegiate baseball or amateur baseball and professional baseball is like just the communication that happens between teammates during the game. Like a lot of times you don't even really need to ask. Like someone comes back from their at bat and it's like, hey, like this is what happened. This is whatever. Like I really think you should focus on trying to do this at the plate, and I think you'll have success. Like it's a lot of that going on, which really helps. And there's a lot of like, in between at bats talk, like, hey man, like, game's speeding up on me. Like, what do you see here? Especially with like not only the players but hitting coaches and everything like that. So there's definitely a lot more talk and chatter that happens at the pro level that really helps with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I find that so interesting because baseball is just like it could be such a strategic game, and you need like
Hmm.
at the same time as it's one batter versus the pitcher, it's also such a team game at the same time because you all have to be able to succeed. So I just find that so interesting.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's a individual game, but it's also a team game. So learning to help the team it overall kind of helps out your career and helps out you in the long run.
In Mystic, or rather at Dodd, you were great with my little brother, acting like a friend to him, and now in the minor leagues, you're getting way more young kids trying to get autographs and stuff like that. Do you feel like you were very well prepared to be in that situation where now you're one of the big stars to sign autographs to these kids?
Yeah, you take any chance you can to sign an autograph for a kid. I mean, obviously, like completely different, you know, like extremity to these kids now. They're asking for autographs instead of like five little kids. It'll be like 300 kids screaming at you for a baseball and autograph. But definitely, take your time and sign them. So I'd say I was definitely prepared for the NECBL to being a pro now.
What are the oh, go ahead, Con. Nah, you're muted,
I might
boss.
need to unmute first. That's
There
right.
you go.
Anyway, keep your question in mind. I won't be long. I wanted to ask, like you mentioned, having 300 kids, like each game, asking you to sign a baseball, throw them a baseball, whatever. Have you had your I made it moment yet? And if you had, when did you realize, like, oh man, like I'm, you were always somebody, but like, man, I'm on a different level now. Have you had that moment yet?
Great question.
Man, I feel like I have like a little different answer to this. I feel like throughout my career I've never really been like satisfied with where I was, and I feel like that's a big reason why like, I've made it this far so far. When I was in high school, all I wanted to do was, play college, and I wasn't satisfied as just being a high school baseball player. And when I was in college, I wasn't, just satisfied with being a college baseball player. I wanted to be a pro. And I think, I've taken that approach here where it's like, I play high A baseball. Like I'm not satisfied with just being a high A baseball player. Now I'm in double A, and it's like, I'm not satisfied with being a double A player. And, I'm hoping to, take that all the way. But, I've definitely had the moments where I've looked around and I'd be like, this is cool. Like it's more so just like before the game, like in the stadium, like you look out and you're like, wow, like I remember being a kid, like watching all these guys taking batting practice before the games, thinking how cool it was. And now, I'm in that shoes. So in that sense, it's definitely like, really cool and surreal at times.
I love that answer because that's kind of playing both sides. Like every level you get, you're like, wow, I'm here, but there's more to do. There's always that next level. I can appreciate that drive. It's taken you far already, but I think it'll take you even further.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's that's obviously the whole goal. I'm not playing professional baseball to just be a minor league player. I'm hopefully be a major leaguer. So until we get to that point, we'll kind of keep it on the back burner.
Yeah, keep that mindset, and 100% good things will come.
Definitely.
What's it like for you playing in those bigger minor league parks?
It's cool, man. I mean, especially when the place gets packed and like thousands of fans. It's definitely cool. It's definitely like, I'll tell you though, like some of the college atmospheres I've played in like are definitely a lot more hostile than some of the minor league parks that I've played at. But like in college, it's just a bunch of drunk college kids screaming at you. So they'll definitely say some more vulgar stuff. But minor leagues, it's definitely fun still too. I mean, fans still get chirpy, especially at the away parks. God forbid you strike out like two or more times. Like you go up for your third at bat, they'll let you hear it.
Oh, we definitely. I live in Worcester, and the Blue Sox Park is down the street from me, and I go over there all the time. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm always yelling at people in the crowd, like
Oh
from
my
from
God,
the
yeah.
stands, like constantly.
Yeah, hey man, we're caged animals, dude. We're just
Unfortunately, I've been
we're
told to
caged
be quiet
animals.
multiple times.
Uh, there's
I've
there's
done it.
there's nothing. I mean, usually every game there will be a group of like guys just letting one person just absolutely have it, and it's like
Yeah, we usually pick somebody.
yeah, exactly. And, being outside of the field, it's like, dude, that's hilarious. But then you're inside the park, and you're just like, dude, shut up.
Yeah.
Like this is game 98 out of 140, and we're just exhausted.
Yeah. Now you know what you put it. I'm gonna think about that next time. So also, I did have another question. Like, who were some of your favorite baseball players growing up?
Growing up, I was a Red
Me
Sox
too.
fan,
Me too.
like
So I mean, yeah,
do
I'm
or
a diehard
die.
Red Sox fan.
I think my prime years were like those like 2007 to like 2013. That's when I really started to kind of like get into it, like Jason Varitek, Pedroia, Ortiz, Johnny Damon, Jacoby Ellsbury. Like those were like the prime guys where I would watch them. I go like, oh, I want to be like those guys. Those were definitely like anyone from the Red Sox from that stretch of time.
Love it.
How how do you think it would be like if you were to ever play the Red Sox as an opponent?
Oh, I would love that so much. That would be like I feel like that would be like the I made it moment. Like being at Fenway Park, I feel like, you know, obviously I would have a lot of like family and friends be able to come see me play, which would, that would mean the world to me. I mean, most of my friends and family, like, they haven't been able to see me play in years. So being there, especially at Fenway Park, like my home ballpark, like that'd be really surreal.
You wouldn't feel conflicted at all having to play against your team for years?
Oh, I mean, I would want them to lose more than anything. I feel like the competitor would take over at that point, but I would probably just my jaw would probably just be on the floor the entire time.
Yeah. No, I think me too. But being away from the East Coast though, do you find it harder on those days where you're not in the cages or at the field? We were talking about how you have to have a life separate from baseball. Is it harder for you because most people are back out here?
Yeah, man, it's tough, dude. Like, I mean, this upcoming All Star break we're having after this week, I'm gonna be able to go home for a couple days, which is gonna be the world. But it's definitely
It's great.
tough, dude. All my friends and family are on the East Coast, so it's tough to stay in contact with them sometimes, and tough to keep up with what's going on. But obviously, try my best to do that. And luckily, like I've made a lot of really really good friends within the Padres organization, so that obviously makes it a lot easier to be away from home because got some family over here too.
Besides getting some screen time on 321 Media here, what does
Oh
an
yeah,
off day look like?
you know it's Monday here in Wichita, Kansas. I went to a coffee shop in the morning. Might Uber to a movie theater to see that new F1 movie. It's literally
Oh,
it's basically just like a bunch of randomness and whatever we can do. So last week, a bunch of guys went to Six Flags. Like it's just whatever you can find and do that's reasonable and not too exhausting, that's usually what happens.
Yeah, that checks out. How have you gotten involved in the community? I saw the Tin Caps posted you a few times doing some community stuff. What has that been like?
It's awesome. I mean, I love doing it as much as I can. I love going out and kind of exploring the community. Like, I mean, I'm not from these places, so I really don't know a lot about the culture, the history of any of these places, or like kind of what the community's like. We were in Fort Wayne. We were able to go to a military base and an Air Force base, which was awesome. Like, we love supporting the troops and kind of see what's going on there and seeing what they do for us on the daily basis. Just recently, this past week, I was able to help out with Little League in San Antonio, which helped out underprivileged kids and kind of gave them a platform to learn baseball and kind of get away from everything that's happening in everyday life. So not only is it kind of like a perspective shift and gives me a little bit of like perspective on like what happens in other people's lives, but gives me a chance to get out in the community and see what's up.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. It must be kind of better for you on those off days in San Antonio, considering you lucked out with a bigger city. As Charles Barkley noted, a place with a lot of culture there.
Yeah, there's a ton of culture in San Antonio for sure, and it definitely checks out.
It's a big culture city. Are you gonna go see the Spurs at any point?
Didn't basketball season end? Did it end?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, maybe if it kicks up and I'm still here, I'll go see a game. But sadly, wasn't able to go see a Spurs game. But I've definitely explored downtown and got a view of the culture.
I like how Kyle came in just to laugh at me and
yeah. No, that
was funny, dude.
When I first got to San Antonio, that was the only video that was showing up on my For You pages and everything, and I was just like, oh god.
I had something follow up, but I'm distracted now. Yeah, so that's right. You mentioned the Little League team, helping out with them. When you were in Little League, you went viral. Tell our audience about that.
Oh yeah, 2014 Cumberland American Little League World Series. My coach Dave Belisle made the greatest live speech of all time, in my opinion. We just lost the game to send us home, and we were all 12, so we were really emotional and sad. It was the best summer ever at that point, and just kind of gave us a little like farewell speech, telling us he was loves us all, and we were his boys, and how proud he was. And ESPN kept the cameras on him and ended up going viral, and we were the boys this summer.
I remember that video. That's crazy that was you guys. That's wild. I saw that like a couple weeks ago.
Oh, every single year it just resurfaces somewhere.
Wow.
Yeah, Kyle and Con. I don't know if you remember Chris Henderson, a professor there, but he had me interview Addison, and that's when I realized that he was part of that. And that's when you got me the Schooners job. I wouldn't have known there was an opening there if it weren't for you. So dude, thanks in retrospect for that. But that time at URI there, I mean, playing at Cumberland, you probably knew you were headed to URI. What was that like, playing at Beck for all those years? And I know you talked about some of the road atmospheres, but those relationships and the culture at Rhodey, how much did it mean to you, and what made you stick around?
It meant the world. I mean, I had a real like sense of pride, like representing like the University of Rhode Island, and being home in Rhode Island and being at the home university, that meant the world. And my teammates meant the world to me, and I always wanted to finish there, like kind of what I started. And I fell in love with like the homey small town atmosphere that Kingston had to offer. I loved like the tight knit home games we would have, just like 200-300 fans, but it felt packed. You knew everyone there. Like games felt electric to me, so all the reasons to stay.
Yeah, we talked about this last week, but they're finally upgrading the Beck. Of course, after we're all gone. But I think and we were talking about this last week too with DePino and Levesque. If it wasn't like 80-mile-an-hour winds every single day down there, I think Rhodey would have had a ruckus crowd there at those
oh my God.
supporting the boys.
Yeah, I always say, like, if there wasn't 80 miles an hour winds, it would have been. We always tried to get Coach Serrato to put a beer garden out in left fields, just so all the frat kids can come and like pregame at the baseball games. But yeah, if there wasn't 80-mile-an-hour winds blowing straight in from center field, probably would have had 40 home runs one year and 5,000 fans at a game.
What's going on? You just mentioned the 80-mile-an-hour winds at Beck. I don't know if Andrew already asked this, but environment-wise, like, what's the biggest difference? Like, you grew up playing in New England your whole life. Like, is there anything you got to do differently playing down in Texas now? Like, obviously it's way hotter, but
Yeah.
is there like a different feel? Probably less wind.
Weirdly enough, our home field, like the Wolf, it feels exactly the same as Rhode Island. There is one, like 90% of the games, there is like 80-mile-an-hour winds blowing straight in from center field. And I always tell people, I'm like, guys, this is exactly like my college field.
That's insane. How do you how do you adjust hitting like that? Because obviously some balls won't travel as far depending on which way the wind's blowing. Like I mean, since you've been playing with that your whole life, how do you get your team to adjust to that?
I mean, we just have a big team emphasis on, like hitting line drives, like hitting the ball hard, like, at a lower launch angle, because, those will end up being the hits. And, you hit a ball super hard in the air, a lot of times it'll just be caught. So it's kind of just making that like focus adjustment and trying to do that instead of trying to pimp home runs all the time.
It's definitely hotter though.
Oh yeah, a lot harder. Still, a little bit humid. We're starting to get into the dog days here, so it'll be like 100 degrees every day, which will, be tough.
So how with the hotter conditions down there, how do you battle fatigue and the side effects that come with playing in the heat more often?
It's just, the biggest emphasis is just crushing water, crushing like any hydration mixes that we have, and doing that as much as we can, and as much as we can, like stay out of the sun, like, rest, stay in the air conditioning, try not to be out there for 12 hours a day if we don't have to be.
Yeah, I imagine it's a big adjustment, but I guess you're used to the wind, so.
Yeah, there's pluses. Hey, there's advantages for sure.
I just looked up the Wolf. Impressive field there. The scoreboard looks sick, but it brought to mind a question. How well did Dodge Stadium prepare you for these AA parks? Because with those dimensions, it was built for AA, that's for sure.
I'll say this till the day I die. Dodge Stadium was the hardest place I've ever had to hit at in my life. I was so mad that they decided to make the move back to Fitch after my last year.
Oh my gosh. I remember, you had what would have been a walk-off home run, but it was a sac fly on Father's Day our year there.
Yeah. I feel like I think I hit the furthest ball at Dodge Stadium that entire year, and it was a fly out to the center field like fence.
Can you guys just explain to me like what was like with the field conditions there that like made it like that?
There's some ballparks where, first of all, it was a pretty big field. Like it was probably 400 something to center in the like big gaps. The only place you could really hit a home run is if you hooked it around like one of the left or right field poles. But I don't know. There's some ballparks where the air just doesn't allow the ball to fly, and Dodge Stadium was one of those places. I feel like I could hit a ball as hard as I physically could, and it wouldn't go anywhere.
Yeah, that sums it up. It was what, 401 to dead center?
Yeah, I think so, but it played like it was 700.
Yeah, because the Mountaineers in the NECL, they were 420 to dead center, and it didn't feel as big for some reason.
No, yeah, Dodge Stadium was definitely the largest park in the league for sure.
What's your best NECBL memory?
Oh boy. God, I mean, I've 3 years there. I'm gonna have to think about this one. Um, best any CBL memory.
Hearing your name called by yours truly, of course, had to be up there. But this is besides that, of course.
Yeah, well, I mean, that one's just at a league of its own. So we'll put that one in the back burner.
Of course.
Best any CBL memory. I feel like it had to be for my first year playing there was so much fun. Not that the other years weren't fun, but that was like my intro to any CBL. I was playing at Fitch Fields, like going around Mystic all the time. I think my favorite memory was, oh no, I don't know if this was, I don't know if this was your year. We played at Old Mountain and we were losing by like 7 runs,
Oh, this isn't what
and
I was thinking.
we ended up coming back to win it. And I just thought it was like the funniest thing ever because everyone wanted to go home and it was so late and it was already like midnight or something, and we just made this like epic comeback, like down like 6 or 7 runs, and ended up winning the game. I just thought that was so funny. That was fun too.
When you said Old Mountain, I thought you were in. I know this was your year, but now that I think about it, I think you were gone by this point. There was a game where Ocean State was trying to get into the playoffs, but we had a 2-0 lead in I think we had completed 6 innings. Starts downpouring, thunderstorms. Everyone wanted to leave on both sides except for HBOD,
That
the
sounds like
manager of the Waves.
H-Bod.
So he forced everyone to stay. The field was like mush. Our guys were actually dumping cups of water onto the field to make it worse to try to go home. The umps, for some reason, decided to stay with him. He's out there raking it. Everyone's like, this is ridiculous. Game comes back on at like 11:30. We just start pouring it on them because we're like, fine, if we have to be here, we might as well you know what I mean? We might as well make a
Yeah,
pay for it.
yeah, 100%.
I remember it was so late. The town had we violated a town ordinance playing the game, and then the sprinklers went off, and they had to call it because it was so late, and it was so quiet. No one was there. Goodman was telling me to shut up from the on deck circle.
That's funny. No, I don't. I wasn't there for that one. I'm sure I would have had an absolute blast with that though.
And then Dennis lost his keys, so I had to drive him to Mystic and then back to Westerly. So I got home at like 2, and the game was only
That's
20 minutes from my house. I will never forget the day you got called. It was a double header, and during the anthem, you ran off the field. You were
yes,
supposed to start at, I
yes.
think, third, and you just left. And then they announced it on the PA that you got signed with the Padres.
Yeah, I remember. I hadn't played, so I was hoping I was going to get drafted in the second day because they had told me that I might get picked up during the second day of the draft. So I hadn't played the last 2 games, just because the draft was going on. And then I wasn't expecting to play that day. And I talked to Phil and I was like, Phil, like I like this will be the day, like I'm gonna get the call, like, like whatever. And he's like, I need you to play. Like I'm like, yeah, for sure. Like, I'll never say no to you, Phil. And yeah, I'm on my phone, like I'm texting and calling my agent like pregame, like on the line, like warming up, sprinting, like he's talking to the teams. He's telling me like what it might be. We have like the draft tracker going on in the dugout. And then I have my phone in my pocket and literally right as the anthem starts, I get a call from my agent and he tells me the deal that they offer me and I'm like, yeah, take it 100%. Let's go. So it was surreal. It was definitely a cool moment.
Yeah, that was awesome. Now you said you were told that they were thinking about getting you on day 2. What's that like in the days before? Are you hearing things from teams in advance? What other teams did you hear from, if any? Like, what is that like for you guys?
Oh, it's awful. It's absolutely awful. It's like, I mean, just the most suspense you've ever like your whole life builds up to this moment. It's just you're just like, oh, like I just want it to be over. Um, I had some interest from White Sox, Orioles, Red Sox. There's a handful of teams that said that I was on their board and I was interested, but I knew the big team that was interested was the Padres, and they had told me they might want to take me in the 10th round, but then ended up grabbing someone else. So I had to wait till day 3 to get selected. But definitely, the days leading up are very, high strung.
I have a goofier question, but I mean it makes sense. On MLB The Show, you play from Double A up. I don't know if you've done it before, but how accurate is that when they do the My Career thing and you're in Double A? Have you seen anything where you're just like, that is not what it's like? Obviously, you can't replicate the day in day out
Yeah.
grind, but like, what are your thoughts on that? Being somebody who's actually there now.
Dude, that game's crazy. We had it in the locker room. We were in where were we? We were in Midland, Texas, and they had a PlayStation 5 in the locker room. And we were playing as the San Antonio Missions against the Midland Rockhounds on the PlayStation, like before the game and stuff. Dude, that game's crazy. That game is game's weirdly accurate. Like some of the swings I see, I'm like, yeah, that's that person's swing, or like that's how that person walks. Like they go into pretty extreme detail.
So are you in the show now?
I have no clue. I think I might be on the San Antonio Missions because I know you can play as that team. But I don't really.
I play a lot of the
games, so
show, and I could probably check for you.
Yeah, can you check that now?
Well, I'm not near my PS5, but
Oh, gotcha.
I have
Yeah,
let me
300
know
hours
after
on
the
that
show.
game.
I know I can get my own. I can get my own 99 card. Like I can get like every professional baseball player can get their own like 99 card that they can use in their team for like online play for like their
What, Diamond
creative
Dynasty?
team.
That's
Yeah,
so cool.
yeah. Like you can get a 99, but then it's like if you use your 99 card, then the person you're playing against, like this happened to my roommate so many times. Like he'll use his 99 card, and the person he's playing against is like, oh, this must be a pro player. Like this, he's using like his 99 card, and they'll just look up like their stats or something and just start chirping him, the life out of him. It's hilarious.
That's good. That's gotta be like such a like only professional baseball players can get those items. So I can assume they're all like one of one rare items. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's a cool thing that they did.
I never thought of that angle of it. The chirping. Yeah, I have 24, and I remember I was playing it, I think a little after you were on the Chihuahuas, and
Yeah.
I was with the Sacramento River Cats, and I was like, oh, is Kopack on here? And you weren't, because I think it was a little after. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
But I don't have 25, so I can't check. But we'll get Kyle or Con. I don't know if you have 25, Con, but if Kyle can find it, we'll post it on the Insta after.
That's funny.
Yeah,
funny.
I still have 24. But it's funny. I just wanted to butt in and say that like it's funny how many players in the minor leagues, like their names are completely accurate. Like it'll be actual minor league players, like all the way down to Double A. Like, but the player models won't be perfect, but it's their name, and sometimes more often than not, the announcer will actually say it. Like your guys' names will be in the game, which is really cool. So I wouldn't be surprised if you were in the game.
Yeah, no, I know there's this thing, like there's whole licensing agreement we had to sign like at the beginning of spring training or something that allows them to do that or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, they go into some pretty extreme depth.
I meant to ask this way earlier. You just reminded me. Spring training. Did you go both years? What was it like? Who did you meet? Tell us all about it.
Yeah, spring training's unreal. I mean, last 2 years, 2 full years of spring training. I mean, I met every single person on the Padres. Like, took live batting practice with Fernando Tatis against Nick Pivetta. Like had some pretty like cool experiences. Like every single pitcher, like I caught. Played first base behind Yu Darvish. Like hit live against a bunch of them, like Jeremiah Estrada and Wandy Peralta, like all those guys.
Who I guess who was the most like chill? Did you get to like talk to any of them that much? Anything like that?
Who's the most chill? I mean, most of them, like, I think one thing Padres is really cool. Like, all the big leaguers are really like, I mean, there's obviously like they're superstars, but a lot of times they don't really act like it. They're not very like, showy, as we'll call it. I think Bogarts is the most chill. Like Bogarts will like, come and say hi and like give you a fist bump and like talk to you and stuff like that. Tatis is cool too. I mean, you also got to realize like some of these guys are still only like 25, 26. So it's like in the grand scheme of life, they don't really like, they haven't really experienced much more. I mean, they definitely have, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who else is chill? Last year, Kyle Higashioka was really cool.
Really?
Talked to him. Yeah, I talked to him a lot. They're all really good guys.
That's awesome. That must be unreal. And how were you hitting against some of those guys like Pavetta, who I'm actually trying to trade for right now in my fantasy league? But
really?
Yeah.
Dude, he's throwing the crap out of the ball. You should definitely get him.
We're waiting on an IL situation, but I'm fingers crossed.
I think he walked me my first at bat, and then I think there's no defense, but I'll call it a double my second at bat, and then my third at bat he made me look silly. So he got his for sure.
Dude, when you get up there, I'm picking you up off on waivers if you're getting hits or if you're getting a double and a walk off of Pavetta.
Hey, I don't know if you could be telling me that, dude. That's insider info.
Yeah,
hey, Fiore, I'm feeling good today. Put me in the lineup.
I need to see if you can bet on AA, man. I need to hit the.
Oh, you can. You 100%. I'm pretty sure you can.
Hitting the over on San Antonio tonight over Wichita or tomorrow.
Oh God, you're putting me in a tough spot.
We might have who's the dude on the Pistons that just got ratted on for that? That just got caught.
Malik Beasley.
Thank you, Con. We got a Malik Beasley situation here. If I get the under on San Antonio, screen goes dark. They got him.
Yeah, they got me.
The feds are on to you now that they know you're gonna tank the AA game here, knowing that I have money on it now. But I had something good a second ago, but I lost it. But I mean, yeah. So if I were to put on a spring training game, would I see you?
It would depend on the game. Like,
so you were playing in the games?
I got into a couple of the games this year.
That's sick.
But a lot of the times it's just like a pinch hit or like you pinch run. Like a lot of times it's not like usually the minor leaguers don't start any of the games.
Who have you faced off against in those games you got in?
One of the games, this was tough. One of the games I wasn't expecting to go in. And it was like the 6th inning and this lefty, Luke Little, who pitches for the Cubs, and he throws like 97 and it looks like it's coming from right field because he's super across his body. He goes into the game to pitch, and Jason Hayward like didn't want the at bat. Like he was just like I don't know. Either he didn't want the at bat or he already had 2 at bats and he was done for the day and like just didn't want to face this lefty throwing a million miles an hour. So I go in. And all I know is that this guy throws hard and it looks like it's coming from a different area code. And I'm telling myself, I'm like, all right, just swing at the first pitch. We're playing at the Cubs Park, which is Sloan. So there's probably like 15,000 people there. And he throws the first pitch and it just looks like an absolute blur. And I'll probably hit it like 3 inches above my like top hand on the bat, shatter my bat. It was tough.
So the crowd atmospheres at those games must have been unreal because you got major league fans showing up trying to get that all access What was that? Was that a culture shock for you?
No, I knew it was like that. I mean, I knew, depending on the park, obviously there's a little more or less, but people travel from all over the country to like come to spring training games. So they're always packed, and it's always like super fans too. So they're all really into it.
I can only imagine what that must have been like, man. I mean, you're really out here living the dream. And I've got to ask, so the times you were called up and down between like Fort Wayne, San Antonio, El Paso, were you given a heads up at all? Or did you have any inkling like as to, okay, I'm on the radar for getting a call up or anything like that?
No, not at all. No, this call up to Double A happened. It was just after a Sunday game, so long week. Like we're all exhausted. I just finished catching, and all I'm just in my like sliding shorts, and that's it. And my manager like brings me into the office, and like they play a joke. They're like they act like all sad and depressed, and then they're just like they tell you like you're going to Double A, and you're like, oh, like really, like oh crap, like this is happening. And yeah, that's usually how it goes. It's usually when you're not expecting it.
Are you still playing almost every position, or have you really honed in on catcher?
Usually it's basically just catcher and first base now.
I
Catcher and
remember
first base.
there was at least a game or two where you played like almost everything back
Dude,
in like NCBL.
Phil, we played Sean Spizzato, little name drop there. He'd have a good take on this because we this is my first year in the NECBL, and it's one of like the last games. I don't think this game meant anything. Like it didn't have any like playoff implications or anything. And I start to play every position. Like Phil, like every inning moves me to a new position. And I'm like, oh, this is sick. Like I'm gonna play every position. And I get like halfway through. And we start like Sean's throwing like a really good game or something like that. Like he's mowing guys down and we're winning like 2-0. And he stops. So we can like for sure win the game. And then after the game, Sean thinks this is hilarious. This is like Sean's favorite memory too. It Phil calls it his like favorite game like ever just because of how much we wanted to win. But I was just always so mad because I lost my opportunity to play all 9 positions. So I ended up playing like 6 positions.
Wow. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I really could have seen because I know you love doing everything, but something drew you to catcher, and I think you told me it's because it was the most challenging, right?
Yeah, most challenging, and I always knew it was my best chance of, going pro at a position because, everyone loves like catchers that are athletic and can hit a little bit. So I think what made me kind of stay and take after it so much was definitely like because of how hard it is and just how much there is to like get better at and improve. And, especially now in today's game, like catcher position's always evolving.
Do you have anyone?
This
And go ahead, Kyle.
I was gonna say this might be a dumb question because again, like I am so just fascinated by like the catcher position too. I just think it's such, like you said, a difficult position, and that's probably, like you said, why you wanted to play it. But what does that do to your body, like being on your knee, like like in that crouch position all the time? I know that might be a dumb question, but I've always wanted to ask like a catcher that.
Oh, it destroys it, man. I mean, I honestly, I can't tell you the comparison because like I don't know how your guy's body feels, but like
And I'm sure not like that.
as a 23-year-old, I feel like I'm in like a 50-year-old's body, especially like after like a long game, like everything just feels like the force of gravity is like 10 times higher, you're
Oh my
glued to the
God.
ground.
Yeah, that sounds brutal.
Yeah, that is absolutely terrible. But I mean, there's a lot of perks that come with playing pro ball, so you find it worth it, I assume.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I'll take the pain any day.
I know you you mentioned your favorite players growing up, but is there anyone you specifically like model your game after, like your swing or just your mindset or anything?
Like weirdly enough, like I feel like growing up, I never really like modeled my swing after anyone or like tried to be like anyone. I always just like, I mean, again, as cliche as it sounds, like just try to play like myself. Like I always felt like I played like in a unique way. So, I always kind of had my own swing and my own everything that I kind of tried to model it. I think catching wise though, I feel like that's the one since I took on it a little bit later and like didn't play it as a kid at all. I think I try to model it a lot like JT Realmuto. He was my favorite catcher to watch like as I started catching. So I think in terms of catching, he's the guy that I try to, model my game after.
Oh, that's a good one to pick because I mean, at his prime, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I
he's
wanted
the
him on the
best.
Mets so bad.
Yeah, yeah.
I know you're a Red Sox fan. Remind me, if any, your teams in the other leagues, the other sports.
Red Sox, Celtics, Bruins, and then football. Loose affiliations with the Dolphins.
How'd that come about?
Yeah, my dad's from Miami. He was a Dolphins fan, and I thought it was cool to be different as a kid. Go against the Patriots stereotypes. So, kind of went against the grain.
Yeah,
No disrespect here. You were 3 for 3 until you said the Dolphins.
Yeah, hey, fair enough. I expect that, but that's what I was looking for.
No, it's okay. You're almost there. 75% is good enough.
All right. Well, we are gonna take a break in a minute. We're gonna talk some pro sports. You're welcome to stick around if you'd like, but if you've got to get back to your stuff, we get it. And I gotta say, my little brother wanted to say hi. He misses
let's
having
go.
you
What's
guys
up,
around.
man? Yeah, tell him I say hi, man. Miss that guy.
Absolutely. Yeah. James is he's been playing Little League. He never
Yeah.
forgot you. We have MLB TV, so I gotta put on a missions game because I know they have MILB now. So I'll throw one of your games on this week. And listen, whenever you play anywhere near here, I'll pop out for sure, whether it's at Fenway, City Field, or wherever, But proud of you and everything you've accomplished. It's great talking to you again for sure. And yeah, do you have any last thoughts, guys, for Addison?
I mean, I loved hearing your stories, brother. Appreciate you coming on, and pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, appreciate that, guys. Appreciate all you guys having me on, and love talking about it. Love talking baseball. Love talking life. So appreciate it.
Yeah, and my next guest, by the
man,
way,
good luck with all your endeavors.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
I don't know if you overlapped with him in Mystic or not any of the years I wasn't there, but Connor Harris, who is now with Banana Ball.
No way.
Yeah.
Did I overlap with Connor Harris? Connor Harris overlapped with me. That guy. I spent a whole entire year with Connor Harris. I spent a lot of time with Connor Harris. You gotta ask him about some of our stories. We have some good stories.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because I never had both of you at the same time because you were 23 and then he was 24.
Yep.
So you guys must have done that before me. But yeah, great dude. He's with the visitors in Banana Ball, working his way up to the Bananas or the Firefighters or one of them.
Yeah, I'm following him on TikTok.
The whole iPhone user thing he's got going on.
Yeah, he's had the same phone for like 10 years. It's absolutely ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. But it's funny. It's good content. I mean, he's doing the splits and everything. That's so funny.
He was made for that.
I remember I used to catch for him all the time, and he would close, and he would always close and finish, and we would just have like the biggest hug in between the mound and the plate after the game. It was so funny.
That sounds like him.
Yeah,
great
guy.
guy.
Yeah.
Excited to have him on next week. And again, great having you on. Great catching up. And hopefully we'll see you in the show. But thanks for coming on to this show. We're going to take an ad break and come back with some pro sports talk with Kyle and Con. So stay with us, folks, here on 321 Media.
D&V Mechanical specializes in the installation, maintenance, and servicing of Mitsubishi ductless mini-split heat pump systems. We are certified by Mitsubishi as Diamond Elite Contractors and factory trained and up to date on the proper procedure of the installation and service of Mitsubishi ductless heating and air conditioning ductless heat pumps. We assist with the paperwork to reduce much of the stress-related documentation required to get the state rebates and federal tax incentives. We are not a jack-of-all-trades, master-of-nothing company. We are masters of ductless heat pumps. It's what we do, and it's what we know.
What's going on, everybody? It's Patrick down here at the Wireless Zone at Dunn's Corners at 224 Post Road, and everybody down here is getting the brand new iPhone 16. We have it here in stock. The best part is right now, if you trade in your old phone, you get it for free. We got deals all weekend, awesome savings. Come on down and see us, 224 Post Road, Dunn's Corners, Verizon Wireless Zone. We'll see you soon.
Hi, this is Dan from Lathrop Insurance. In this challenging insurance environment, Lathrop Insurance can be your beacon in the storm to help you find the coverage you need at the right price. Now, more than ever, you need a partner in the insurance industry that can work with multiple carriers to make sure you have the right coverage at the right price. Lathrop Insurance carries home, auto, and business insurance and can be reached at 401-596-2525. We've been supporting the local community since 1939, and we look forward to working with you.
Experience local excellence with Roof Right Roofing in Charlestown, Rhode Island. With over 40 years of unmatched expertise, Roof Right specializes in architectural shingles and holds the prestigious title of GAF Master Elite Installers. Known for their commitment to the community and support for local initiatives, Roof Right is your trusted partner for all of your home's roofing needs. Call today for a free estimate at 401-212-4140.
Welcome back here on Fiore Calls Game. Andrew Fiore, Brandon Kahn, and Kyle Reel with you here on 321 Media. We are brought to you by CC O'Brien, home of the best burgers in the Western Pawcatuck area. And guys, that was a great interview we just had with Addison Kopack of the San Diego Padres farm system. It's crazy, you know, we go to these Woo Sox or Yard Goats games and we're just talking with a dude who's on a team at the same level as the Yard Goats. What a down-to-earth guy Addison is.
Yeah, super chill guy. See, that was literally going to say the same thing. Just seems very down-to-earth.
Yeah, I got
absolute dog mentality, bro. That answer to my "do you feel like you've made it?" question was awesome. Like, that's the exact mentality that'll take a guy like that so far in a long, strenuous farm system. It is not easy to get to where you want to go, but Addie's got heart, man, and he's got the drive. The never satisfied, I feel like, is something we could all relate to, whether it's sports or, you know, our professional careers, anything. Like, he's gonna go far with that mentality, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
I also just love that he's a catcher.
Yeah,
he's listed as I wanted to say it, but on the official minor league side, he's listed as a third baseman, but his background picture is him as a catcher. I looked
at his stats, and it's like he's played like a bunch of different positions. He's been like, you know, he's played DH, played first, played catch. Like, he was
listed as utility / right-handed pitcher on Your Eyes site a couple of years ago when I checked this morning. So he really does it all. He's like Brock Holt, but can catch.
Yeah, I remember asking him a long time ago why catcher. He's like, yeah, because it's hard. Like, you know, it's the most stimulating. Which he's a dog. He was definitely aura farming with that with the answer there of like, I'm never satisfied. Yeah, Addie's great. So many good memories on the bus rides with him.
Dude,
everything.
The San Antonio thing, the big city thing, really took me out. Like, that was really good. I can't. That was the emphasis because I didn't. Down there. It took me a second to get it.
He got it right over my head. I tuned back in. I was like, "What are they even talking about?" The joke just clicked in my head.
That was good.
So yeah, we got Connor Harris next week with Banana Ball, which they just sold out Fenway Park. I'm still
I had
fucking,
work, bro.
huh?
I wish I could have gone. Yeah, I wish I could have gone. I had work.
Yeah, how I heard those aren't expensive. I've always assumed they're expensive.
I think my buddy went, but there was a wrestler I really like was there too. His daughter threw out or no, his daughter went out and danced. The wrestler that I really like went out and threw the first pitch. Like it seemed like it was awesome. Tommaso Ciampa, you know Ciampa, right?
Oh yeah.
He's actually from New England. He trained in New England. So it was super cool to see all of his social media posts, and it's good for the city of Boston, man. Like having those guys come around so often.
It's better than the actual product we're getting on the field in Fenway Park. So.
Yeah, well, we got the Rockies this weekend, so I'm hoping that.
Yeah, the
Nationals
and the Rockies. The Nationals and the Rockies have saved the Red Sox season because the Red Sox played back-to-back stinker teams.
Red Sox, Mickey Mouse, first place incoming.
I've been super locked in on the Red Sox. I don't know why, because there's nothing. I guess there's just nothing else to do. Like, there's nothing. I have nothing else to do a lot of the time, so I'll just like play the show and listen to the Red Sox game. And I swear, the last couple of weeks, every single time I'm watching, it's Lucas Giolito throwing like a gem of a game for some odd reason.
And then Walker Buehler turns around and makes me hate my life.
And then Walker Buehler throwing home run derby in the next game.
Of course, Walker Buehler's one good start this year was when I was there rooting for the Mets to beat him, and they won 2-0. But Con, I've got to ask you, what's going on with your fantasy team there, buddy? So we're all in the fantasy.
I haven't checked it since week 1.
What?
I don't think I've checked it since since the first month. I've just been so tapped out on it. I don't know. I'm in like 3 leagues this year, and it's just like I'm like, bro, why did I do this to myself? I can't keep up with all of them.
That's why I don't play fantasy baseball.
I love fantasy baseball, but like I got a league with some of my other buddies, and like the rules are changed, and it's like so I have like 3 leagues that have all different rules, and it's just like I don't know, man. I'm also lazy, that doesn't help.
I think fantasy sports is perfect for football because it's 17 games. I don't know, they're gonna add like a million more at some point, but 17 games, and it's easy to follow. Fantasy hockey, fantasy baseball, fantasy basketball, you lose me with all that because there's just too much going on, and I don't even understand how the point system works. So I tap out on that.
I mean, everybody's gonna say fantasy football is number 1. I don't mind fantasy basketball, but I lost in my championship this year playing with a bunch of URI guys because the guy who won just like added and dropped a bunch of players like each day. Like if his guys weren't playing on one day, he would drop them for anybody who was playing. So he would have every single one of his players playing every day. And that's when I was like, oh, this is why nobody likes fantasy basketball. Okay. I liked it the last 3 years up until that point.
That's what Caleb and I have been doing in our league. Just started like scouring waiver pitchers, and that's how I got back up from it being over to now being so back. But what I'm hearing is you're willing to trade some of your good players there, and if you're so tapped out on it, why don't you just go all the way and fully tank?
I mean, I didn't say that, but I mean, yeah. Somehow I'm the league I was talking about where we changed a bunch of rules. Somehow I'm 9-6. Like how has my team won 9 games? Like I have not checked that league in like a month.
You're 2-10 in ours. I can tell you that off the top of my head.
2-13 actually. You get it right.
That was me when I was playing fantasy basketball. I had like a bunch of good players on my team, and my buddy Koya would constantly ask me like, "Yo, if you're just like not gonna care about it, why don't you trade me everybody?" And I was like, "Nah, I'm not gonna do that."
That's what I was gonna say. Like then it gets like it's a bit of a hairy situation because you don't want to like sell and then like collude almost like just sell all of your good players to one team. Then it's just kind of like unfair. So I guess I would have to be reasonable with the trade requests, unfortunately. But
fair enough. But yeah,
my trades are open. Everybody's on the block.
Oh, I will be looking at that the second we get off the air. I will be looking at your roster and cooking. That's crazy though. Like how close we just got to all that. Being like, I'm in the middle of trying to trade for Pavetta, and we're literally just waiting for one of the players to be sure they're not on the IL. And then it's like Addie's like, oh yeah, I hit off him in BP. It's like, it's crazy the access we get to this stuff now.
Also, he was in the same dugout as Jason Hayward. Like he's big time
And Xander
right
Bogarts.
now. Yeah,
Yeah,
Xander
no, I
Bogaerts.
texted him. It literally he was in El Paso for like a week, and it happened to be right when Bogarts was rehabbing. And I texted him like,
Right.
dude, have you met him yet? And he's like, yeah, he's been awesome. I'm like, that's so sick.
That's gotta be surreal as a kid who grew up in New England. You know what I mean? As a Red Sox fan, that must be so wild.
I know, dude. It's crazy.
I couldn't even imagine. Oh my god.
It's so crazy. I hope I want to go see him play. That would be so sick. Like the feeling of dude, the feeling of like going to a game. Can you imagine? And we go to like a Red Sox Padres game, and we're like, oh yeah, I know him. And it's like, Addie's up to that. Like that must be nuts.
A good friend of mine, like a close friend of mine from when I was in high school, is he played at Dayton and then Pitt, and I think he's probably going to get drafted. He's pretty dang good player, and I was like close friends with him.
Speaking of big old San Antonio and people we knew that people you knew that got drafted, didn't Keno Lilly just go to the Spurs for their summer league? Is that the guy you know? No,
my friend's Kalu Anya.
Oh yeah, okay. I knew it was okay. I knew you knew one of the Brown players for Brown University, and I thought
and I knew him like back in high school. Like he was way better. He left the high school because he was that good.
Gotcha. I thought it was Lily. Lily just went to San Antonio. But yeah, so Red Sox not looking so hot right now.
Well, Trevor Story remembers how to play baseball, so that's cool.
Yeah, only against sub 500 teams, but yeah.
Yeah, well, and Cedon Rafael is an absolute monster in center field. I love that man.
Jackie Bradley Jr., never heard of him. We have Cedon Rafael.
Welcome back, Jackie Bradley Jr.
Jackie Bradley III.
We're all set, Devers. You can go. We have Cedon Rafael.
Cedon Rafael is hey LeBron. We're all good, bro.
We're all good, bro. We have
Nate.
We have Nate Eaton, dude. Don't worry about it.
Alex Bregman. We're good, bro.
We got Nate Eaton.
Marcelo Myers here.
I can't wait to clip this in like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. But how would you guys react if the Sox actually trade Bregman?
I'd be heated.
Sad.
I think it's a terrible idea. I think they should extend him. I think he's like the only leader really in the clubhouse, and he hasn't even been there an entire year, but he's their only leader. Because we all know Rafi
over FaceTime.
Yeah,
like he wasn't even in the clubhouse
because he's hurt.
I know, but like I'm just saying, like he hasn't been around, and he was an all-star. Like,
yeah, exactly. But we all knew Rafi wasn't a leader. Like that was just not part of his MO, and that's okay. And I don't even have I even been here since Rafi got traded? I don't know. Have I? I think so. But
so.
I don't know, but well, even then, that whole thing was just like there's so many games that immediately after, like, yeah, we won that first game against the Giants, and the next game we had a homer, and whatever. But there was multiple games where we weren't scoring any runs, and I was just like talking over my friends, like, man, Red Sox could really use a power bat in the middle of the lineup right now. I wonder where they could get one of those.
Been there, done that. We don't want that.
No, we didn't trade him for a bag of chips or anything, did we? James Tibbs III, Kyle Hamilton.
Hey, he's kind of promising though.
You know what's funny?
No, Tibbs actually might be him though.
No, you know what's funny?
Tibbs
so I since that happened, I started a Red Sox franchise on the show that day, and I traded away Rafael Devers on that day and did an entire thing. I'm now currently in year 2041, and the Red Sox have won 7 World Series titles on the backs of Christian Campbell, Roman Anthony, and an all-star by the name of Hollis John that does not exist. He's a random computer-generated guy that I signed from the St. Louis Cardinals. He was a free agent, and I signed him when he hit free agency. He's won 3 MVPs. He's hit 36 home runs or like more in almost every single year with us. We've won 7 World Series titles. We've become the new Yankees. Yeah, it's been great. On the backs of, and you know what, James Tibbs and Kyle Hamilton, they did nothing for me. By the way, Tibbs was like a DH he was a DH for like 2 years, I think, on my Red Sox squad. We did win a couple World Series with him there, but the fruits of that labor took a while to turn out. It just so happened that Roman Anthony and dude, Christian Campbell won 2 MVPs. He's been like the captain of the team for like 16, 17 years at this point. It's yeah.
I thought you were setting up a joke of like, so hey, Tibbs and Gibson actually are gonna work out, but instead you were like, and they didn't do anything, so this proves it.
But yeah, that was my point. But we won 7 World Series, so.
So what you're saying is we have a chance.
Yeah, well, it's going to be
MLB The Show is extremely accurate.
MLB The Show says that Marcelo Myers is only going to be he's going to be a 0-time All-Star and not really turn into anything.
Love to hear it.
I traded him away to Houston.
Why Houston?
Anyways, I don't remember. Sorry, I had to give you the little bit of the lore of my running on 30-year franchise and MLB The Show.
Point being, Devers trade. Not going to work
out.
No.
It's
not
dumb.
It
I'm too employed for this. I'm too employed
for this.
No,
I'm not.
The Mets, it's getting there. They had a really, really bad span of 3 months, which I think happens every June. And now they just had back-to-back series wins. They beat up that kid for the Brewers. That pitcher. Yeah.
Priester? Yeah. He was on the Red Sox.
No, not him. Mirakowski or something.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
Oh yeah. Oh my.
We
dude,
were the first team to...
He actually looks 12.
Can I sleep on the Brandon Nimmo couch?
What?
I saw some meme that was just like, hey babe, I'm gonna go sleep on the Brandon Nimmo couch.
There's a whole Brandon Nimmo shitpost page out there. There's a lot, but yeah, Nimmo's been on fire.
Nimmo has been good for you guys lately.
Also, how about Brett Beatty from? Remember that one show where we were all like, we were slamming Brett Beatty, and then ever since that day, he's been actually a reliable major leaguer.
Yep. Yeah.
It's the Fiore calls game curse, or maybe it's like a good thing. The blessing.
Guys, Blake Tidwell is awful. He will never win a Cy Young. Blake Tidwell is never gonna win a Cy Young. Yeah, dude, Mets are in a spot our bats finally woke up, but we have these random dudes pitching for us now because our starting pitching core is injured to hell and back. So it's just we have
Brandon Kahn out there pitching.
Yeah, really.
You wish, bro. I was kind of nasty in Little League.
You know what's fire though about all the Mets injuries? I'm going to the Brooklyn Cyclones on Sunday, so I'm oh, that'd be so imagine I get to see Kodai Senga come out
in the rehab start.
Who are the Brooklyn Cyclones?
Huh?
Who's that? The Cyclones?
Is it Mets AAA?
They're fire. No, they're the so the Brooklyn Cyclones are the Mets High A affiliate.
Okay.
But the Mets will rehab guys there because it's in Brooklyn, and it's so look them up. It's so sick. They're on Coney Island, so it's literally the roller coasters in the outfield, and then they have that lit up.
Oh, I think I've seen that park.
It's so sick looking, and I've always wanted to go. And I'm going. My girlfriend lives in New Jersey, so I'm just gonna go with her.
When are you gonna be taking a visit to wonderful Polar Park?
Getting around to it. No, I do genuinely want to head up there though to Polar Park at some point, especially when the Syracuse Mets are in town. Because Jesse Winker was just at Polar Park actually, last week.
Yeah.
But I want to see some of the Mets AAA guys. I have still not been to one, so I need to go there. It looks like a nice park. But yeah, no, the Cyclones. I saw them at Dodd back when they were in the same league as the Connecticut Tigers, and I met Jeff McNeil because he was rehabbing.
Wow.
So I've seen them, just not at their sick looking park. If you Google it, it's crazy. And they like actually packed the place, and they had they've got a ton of promotions. That's actually why we're going on Sunday. They're doing a David Wright retired jersey. So it's like the retired number circle thing on the back. It's sick. And then we're going to the David Wright retirement game at the Mets on the 18th. So, and then on the birthday, another Mets game. So I've got 2 Mets games in the span of 4 days with the Cyclones game the week before.
I won't be giving the Red
And you
Sox
just got
any
back
more of
from
my
Florida
money.
too.
Oh, I said I won't be giving the Red Sox any more of my money this year.
What about
There
you,
was Sox
Con?
Nines that came out tonight. I was very tempted, but I refrained.
Oh, the Nines. Yeah, I was gonna say we
Yeah.
all gotta head to one of those at some point. Well, before our emails get deactivated. It's
I think
our last
this
shot.
would be the last season that we could take advantage of the $9 tickets.
I've never done it. Too last minute for me down here. I want to though. So
They
I
should
know,
all be
I know.
$9.
Yeah,
but
they should all be
yeah,
$9 all the time.
Yes, I really like. Come on, I don't want to pay for this crap. Just trade away the face of the franchise for no reason. I don't have to pay for this.
Hey, we're above
Oh,
500
but
again though.
but
Oh,
the
great.
Fenway Mystique, guys. But please,
Babe, time to go back to 500. Yes, babe.
dude, I'm
Oh,
sure
yeah.
you'd rather go to Coney Island and see the Cyclones with
Moments
me
like this, though, I wish we could pull up like a picture of the stadium, like, and show everybody, because that.
Oh,
would
I
be cool.
know. I got.
I'm sure we can, but yeah, we just gotta.
Yeah, we just
Yeah,
get Jamie, pull
I'll
it
just
up.
do the old classic. Just Google it and pull it up on my phone and show
There's
camera.
a way to do this here. I don't know. I mean,
I don't
we're in the last
but-
minute of our show. Like,
It's a great
Yeah,
time
I
to
don't think this
experiment.
is
though.
time. Yeah, I guess maybe.
whatever. I mean, we could have pulled up like Addison Kopack's
Ooh.
stats.
Oh my god, my camera's not gonna be able to pick it up.
No, that looks like you're playing a game in heaven.
Dude, my laptop camera is so bad, but yeah, once we figure out the graphics, it's over, man.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll ask. There's present. Maybe if you
Well, then you would just show your
video
screen,
file,
maybe. I don't know.
image file. Ooh, I think I know a way to do. You can share your screen.
Yeah.
Jamie, pull that up.
I know how to do it. Okay, I have to like actually pull it up though. We're experimenting live here.
Might as well, right?
I feel like we've hit a point. We've done like a ton of interviews in a row, and it's just like, yeah, let's mess around for a minute, you know?
Let's
We
just
should
shoot
start-
the shit. Last 3 minutes of
think-
the show. Let's just.
I think we
This
should start doing
makes
some more
more sense.
interactive stuff, like lists and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, dude, like we
Yeah.
used to do. Especially, so I've been doing like a bunch of baseball guests recently, and I'm still talking to that, or I'm trying to figure out something to get that ref on.
That would actually be insane. That would be an insane poll.
The ball's rolling. I'll just put it like that. The ball is rolling, and then I have that connection who is the voice of the New York Knicks. So I want to get those two in after Connor Harris. Then we definitely got to do like a list. We got to do like a list. There we go. Can you see that?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Can't see it.
Really?
You have to add it to the show like it's a
Oh, you're right.
presentation video. There we go. Wow. Dude, we're so tiny.
Oh, we did it.
So yeah, that's I don't know what it's the Soup Nazi with the Cyclones players.
What?
Yeah. Dude, doesn't that look sick? Okay.
I kind of like how we're all brushed off to the side here so that you can show the graphic and we're not covering our sponsor either. I mean, this is
Dang, that
good
looks
enough.
cool.
If we just want to pull up graphics, literally just hit share screen and then present to studio.
Look at this roller coaster out here. Like this is so sick.
High,
So I'm
high
going
A
down.
ball team, by the way.
Yeah. So that's sick. Yeah, so now that we know how to do that, we're definitely doing like we gotta take advantage of that with lists and stuff.
We'll
so
do a tier list.
absolutely. I
yeah,
heard
they
something
got
knocking
sites
on
for
the
that.
door here, so I don't know if we're holding up some show, but we are at our time. We had a fantastic interview with Addison Kopack, and messing around after the fact was a blast as well. Next week, Connor Harris, Savannah Bananas Baseball. You're gonna want to tune into that. And then again, I'm talking to those high profile basketball guests, and then we'll be doing tier lists and stuff like that, along with more of those guests. And you're gonna want to stay with us this summer and beyond, folks, because we have a lot coming down the pike. But I want to thank Addison Kopack for that great interview, and want to thank Brandon Kahn and Kyle Reel for joining me. First time we've had both of you in a while.
Yeah, man.
Busy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Life
we're
happens, but I'm glad we can all, take an hour and a half out of our afternoon and just shoot the shit, man. I absolutely love just yapping about sports, man.
This was a fun one, but we're gonna have to wrap it up here. Thank you to CC O'Brien's our sponsor. That is gonna do it on 321 Media. This is Fiore calling game.